Manchester City are the talk of the town as usual. Some people here believe they might not be title favourites. Others believe they're clear-cut title favourites. So I think let's start with clear-cut. Yes. Why are Man City still clear-cut title favourites?
What happened to champions' respect? What's going on in this country? What happened to champions' respect? You've got to give them the respect. Listen, we've seen Man City year after year start slow and then end the season strong. And that's what they're going to do, in my opinion. I think we have to remember, this is a team that have been there and have done it. And not only been there and done it in the Premier League, they've done it in the Champions League. They're treble winners, and they have arguably the greatest manager of all time. So you're looking at player quality, I still think City are the strongest team in the league. You're looking at manager, they still have the best manager in the league. I don't see why they won't do it. The only issue you can maybe say is motivation. You know what I mean? But then we thought that about going for the three-peat. We said the same thing. Even when it was time to do back-to-back, this crop have won it all. Are they going to... This team, Pep Guardiola, every single season finds a way of remotivating them. I remember last season, it was that moment when the fines happened and he's just said, listen, everyone's in trouble here now. You're all in trouble. And I think it's the same thing. He's going to find a way of motivating these guys. And I just got, until it's mathematically over with Man City, I've seen it. I've received it as well as a Man United fan, being on the end of City chasing you. Everyone has. You have, Nubaid. Chelsea actually haven't. It's Arsenal that have as well. I just think Man City, that when there's time to hunt and they smell blood, the sharks are coming, as they say,
Is there a theory here that maybe they're not title favourites and they're not quite there?
Do you know what it is with Man City? And I don't want to disrespect them. I don't want to come on here and...
Don't get scared of it.
You're
disrespecting them.
You are. Like, they're a team that we can all herald. And I came on here last season, I said that if Man City win this treble, they're the greatest team we've ever seen. And I still believe that. But they're human. They're human. And in that, this is the most human iteration of City that we've seen. Yeah. And Pep Guardiola made a sacrifice. When they brought in Erling Haaland, it used to be death by 1,000 cuts for City. They dominate metaphorically with the ball 60, 70, 80% possession. You wouldn't get a touch. This time around, City are very, very different. And last year, it helped them win the Champions League, which is more of a cup competition that you need people to come up with moments. But this City team is more gettable. And as a result of that, there's reasons why I doubt them this season. There's reasons why I think Arsenal and Liverpool have got a good chance of challenging them. And there's a reason why a Premier League team or a team in England has never won 4 titles in a row.
Yeah.
Pep's talked about it a lot. He's gone to Gary Neville, he's gone to Jamie Carragher, and he's mentioned it, and that's something that he wants. But to remotivate his players to go and get that is difficult, especially after last season. We saw the pictures that leaked from the physio room where I think Jack Grealish was getting some treatment, and you saw on the wall they had the Champions League trophy before they'd won it. That was the goal. When you've reached that, it's difficult to go again. And we Man United, they had to go again. They had to find new motivation. We heard Gary Neville talk about it. And with this City team, they're going to have to find new motivation. And maybe that comes in the form of Kevin De Bruyne coming back into the team and giving everybody a kick up backside. But I think this Man City team are just missing something that you need to win the Premier League title, whereas Arsenal and Liverpool seem to have the bit between their teeth.
I mean, I get it. When Man United did our three-peats, there was incredible teams that stopped Manchester United afterwards. I'm talking about like real all-time teams. You know what I mean? The Ancelotti's Chelsea, they had to score 100 or something goals, and we still took it to the last day. Without Ronaldo, without Tevez and these guys. And then you're looking at when we didn't win it for the first three-peat. It was the 0-2 Arsenal. That emerged, that Wenger team with Thierry Henry leading it, which ended up being an invincible team as well. This is a legendary team. So, is Liverpool a legendary team right now? Is Arsenal a legendary team right now? That's ready to take the throne off Manchester City. I don't know.
Wouldn't you say they'd become legendary teams if they did take the throne off them, right? So if Arsenal went and won the league this season...
Become cute, you know what I mean? A cute team. I don't know about legends.
But if you look at that Liverpool team 1920, obviously they're building. They won the Champions League the year before and it felt like a natural progression.
That's a legendary team though.
That's legendary.
Is this team on the levels of that team? It's not.
Who Arsenal?
No. Well, of course not. No, Liverpool are clear.
Yeah.
1920 Liverpool are one of the best teams we've seen.
Yeah, no, that's the best.
This is what I mean. That's what it took to get it off Manchester City. Is Arsenal and Liverpool currently at that level?
It remains to be seen. They're not. But also, there is something to be said about going again and again and again. And I think with this City team, you're seeing frailties. You're seeing it in the Chelsea game where they had multiple leads. This is Chelsea, by the way. This is a Chelsea team that are in the bottom half of the Premier League table. They drew 4-4 with Chelsea. You see it in the game against Spurs where they give up a late goal and they give up the lead. They see it in the game against Liverpool as well. There's been multiple occasions where you expect City to go and win these games and they haven't. And I think this year is slightly different to previous years.
Don't you think City sometimes, though, like, look, I don't even want to be defending City. I can't believe how I'm defending City right now. But City often, you know, we don't care about their injury or anything like that because we're like, it's Man City, you know. But they did lose Gundogan. They did, and I understand they replaced it with Kovacic and Nunes, which is a downgrade to what they lost. But guys, the best player in the league has been out all season in KDB. In my opinion, the best defender in the league, John Stones, has been in and out. If they can get them to fit for the crunch time of the season when it really matters. This is Erling Haaland, by the way, who has missed 17 big chances this season, but still has 14 goals. Get his running mate back in that team, and I promise you, it's going to be lights out.
See, that's what I was going to say next, right? Like, when we look at Erling Haaland this season, the only thing that was going to happen from last season is he was going to go south. There was no way he's going to score more than last season. So it's inevitable that his conversion rate would slip a little bit. Last season it was 0.25. This season currently 0.20. So he's not as clinical as last season. Generally, I think Gundogan's a great point. They had Gundogan and Mahrez, these guys that, you know, when it got tough, Pep would just go, oh, mate, Mahrez, can you just bag me 5 and 5? Hey, sorted. Gundo, bag me 8 and 8.
Two of your favourite players.
Bro, you know, Gundogan. Hey, we'll continue. We'll be here all day. But I think there's now less characters like that. The other guys in this side that have conversion rates that are as high or close to Haaland, Foden, Alvarez and Grealish, they don't scream, can you go bag me 10 in 10 and win games for us? So there's that. There's also a discipline side here, which I hadn't noticed, obviously, until seeing this. So last season, they saw a total of 44 yellow cards in 38 matches. This season, they're already on 31 in 16 Premier League matches. Now, what I see from that is they're a little more stretched. They're making more mistakes. Players are getting caught out of position. And that, I think, is now contributing to them losing certain games in last minutes. Rodri's had a few very dodgy yellows, and then he's obviously having to stand away. All those things combined, now we're going, maybe it might not take a legendary team to dethrone them.
That's a good point.
I think with City, I think City fans also fair to ask, and he scored some important goals this season, but please rise Phil Foden. Please rise. I
think he's having a good season. I think there's a narrative that of Foden that is so
I love you said that because he replied to a tweet the other day going mad about this.
No. Okay,
I don't get it.
No, because there is numbers. And Phil Foden, by default, in his sleep, because of how talented he is, will give you 10 and 10 every season. I need Phil Foden to give you. Remember those seasons where Raheem Sterling was giving you 20 goals? Yeah. I need Phil Foden to give you that, especially when KDB's missing.
Why do we always have to expect a player? The way a player has to lead a team is to be the absolute machine statistically. You've got Erling Haaland who's going to give you that machinery. He doesn't have to give you 20-something goals for City to be. Julian Alvarez. What about him? He's the type of player. He's a goal scorer. Yeah. He's the one that when he came in last season, I think he scored 17 goals. He's that type of player. I feel like Phil Foden is the type of one that makes your team better. He gets involved, and he can give you goals and many goals. And he's hit 14, 15 goals in a season before. But I just think people think the next evolution for Foden is to be this machine number-wise, and I don't understand why.
No, for me, I think when you have conversations with the top 5 players in the league, talent-wise, eye test-wise, Phil Foden should be there without any shadow of a doubt. If you look at Bukayo Saka at Arsenal, you say Bukayo Saka's a top 5 player in the league. Phil Foden's not, and Phil Foden's surrounded with way better players. You're saying it's a legendary team. Phil Foden's time to rise. KDB's been out for a long time. Go and grab a game by the scruff of the neck. You don't have to score. I've seen Eden Hazard dominate games without scoring goals. Phil Foden, I want to see you do that because I know you can score goals. I know you can get assists. Go and imprint a game because you can do it.
My thing is, with Pep Guardiola teams, often it's about the team, right? It's about what makes it work. And then you get maybe that one player who is the key man. And if you look in his history, that's been Messi, that's been KDB, and let's say Erling Haaland, right? And the Bayern one, they had a lot of rotation. You don't know who was going to pop up with it. The 3 names that I just mentioned are legendary football players. They're iconic players, even Erling Haaland in his early career. I don't think to be the man at Man City, you have got to be one of the best players in the world. To be the man under Pep Guardiola, you've got to be one of the best. Foden's not that yet. He's not that. Foden is not one of the best players in the world. So you can't just give him the keys. He's not the best player in the world. KDB is arguably the best in the world. So is Erling Haaland. So is Messi. So is I don't see, you can't just say, you want him to be the best player in the world already. He's not going to be the best player in the world already. That is crazy. He's not. Bukayo Saka's not the best player in the world already.
Okay,
He's not.
okay,
And it's a different level. It's different team. It's different expectations.
When we talk about Phil Foden, we always hear, yeah. This is a grown man. This is a grown man. We hear, best under 24 player in the world. What kind of category is that? Phil Foden, the best players in the world who go on to be best players in the world are the best players in the world by the time they're 22. By the time Erling Haaland was 22.
What about Iniesta and these type of players?
Yeah,
Where
it's
are the
way
best
back
players?
when. Let's
Yeah,
just
but
way
who are
back
the
when.
best players in it by 22?
Yeah, I just think
He's a different type of player.
I think, and I do understand what you're saying in terms of the best players of Pep Guardiola's squads, but we're talking about Man City winning the league here, and I think if Man City are to go on and win this league in this dead spot right now, where KDB's not there and where they're struggling for form, I want to see Phil Foden rise and be one of the best players in the league. I want to see Phil Foden pick up Player of the Month awards. I want to see Phil Foden be considered one of the best players in the world because talent-wise, he's there.
I enjoy this narrative, I can't lie.
I hate it.
But I won't get too involved because we will get upset. Very quickly, there's obviously the stats around Rodri, with and without. They really struggle with and without. I think even Pep said when Rodri doesn't play, we struggle not only as a team, but to create chances as well. Early this week, he said Calvin Phillips, what did he say? He said, it was like a really bad breakup. But I was like, you could just speak to him. Like, you don't need to tell us.
It's not you, it's me.
Yeah. So they have this issue around defensive midfielders. Liverpool currently don't have one, and Arsenal have Declan Rice. I've always felt in recent times the team with the best defensive midfielder will probably win the league. Yeah. Okay. And in current form, and if I look at Rice and Rodri, and Rodri's my guy, like I love Rodri almost as much as Goodman. But right now, if I had to back one in this country, I'd probably back Rice. If they lose Rodri for 4 or 5 games, are they not in the same situation as being without De Bruyne?
Yeah, if they lose Rodri, he's statistically more important than KDB. He's more important than all of them. I would say, though, I don't know if people can remember last season, there was Casemiro, Partey, and Rodri discussion. And for a lot of it, Casemiro and Partey were ahead of Rodri. Yeah. And he was just quietly going about his business. By the end of the season, people said it's not even a conversation.
I don't know if that's just more about Rodri or people on the internet making this
comparison. Maybe.
We were involved. We were involved in that.
Maybe. But I think, with Rodri, again, he's proven quality. I think in the right moment, he'll step it up. You know what I mean? And listen, as I'm saying before, the City team, they are kind of fading around at the moment, but they will get into another gear. They will, and I do think he is more important than KDB. I think John Stones is more important than KDB as well. I know that sounds crazy, but I think for the way Man City are, I've seen Man City go on long runs without KDB, but when I'm looking at City without John Stones, doing that kind of midfield role, coming into the midfield, they seem to be very vulnerable. Yeah. And also, we know what happens with Rodri. That first phase is so important for a Pep Guardiola team. Yes, KDB can be the destruction, the last, just tear up teams. But that first phase is so important, and you've seen it throughout Pep's career. Xabi Alonso, Lahm, Sergio Busquets, Rodri. And people sleep on what Fernandinho was doing in the early days as well. So, yeah.